Hello everyone, this is Cao Zhaoxun from University Kabasan, Malaysia. I am the co-author about the research named Teaching Integration, a study of integrating intellectual property into music classroom teaching. The author is Li Yongcong from INTI International University. Now I'd like to introduce our research. Most national copyright laws and regulations and international copyright conventions classify and outline the types of works, of which dramatic or musical theatre works with or without works fall into category of works. In the teaching of musical composition, teachers often focus more on training students in performance techniques and neglect to explain the legal implications of musical works, resulting in a large number of musical works being infringed in practice. By incorporating intellectual property rights into theatrical teaching, students can develop their performance skills while strengthening their awareness of copyright, thus enhancing both their skills and literacy. This paper uses qualitative research methods to illustrates the teaching of music composition and provides an in-depth analysis and discussion of the awareness of music composition and the possible infringement problems that can occur in music composition and the ways to defend rights. As a result of the study, a curriculum that is different from the traditional music teaching system, the teaching of the identification of infringement of music, and the strengthening of learners' awareness of the similarity of music works can better prevent the occurrence of infringement in society. This article is in three main parts. The first part is intellectual property rights and musical works. It includes an overview of intellectual property rights and an overview of music works. The second part is the significance of intellectual property rights for teaching and learning. The third part is the forms in which intellectual property rights are embodied in teaching and learning. Now I'd like to talk about intellectual property rights and musical works. Intellectual property is the exclusive right of a right holder to the results of his or her intellectual work and to the marks and reputation of his or her business activities. The right to intellectual property is a special right that the right holder enjoys in accordance with the law. Article 123 of the Civil Code of the People's Republic of China classifies the intellectual property rights into 7 categories, and by way of comparison, it can be seen that in the musical-related field, music is mainly protected under Chinese intellectual property laws in the form of works. Musical works is a copyright work of art consisting of a musical composition with various songs accompanied by or for words, poetry, lyrics, and performed on instruments or with the human voice. When such a work is performed on stage, it is called a dramatic musical work. Music is also usually part of a film or television production and is a type of work. Therefore, it is important to understand the legal definition of a work. A work is an original work of the mind of the field of literature, art, or science that is produced through the creative activity of its creator and that can be presented in a certain form of expression. Most national copyright laws and regulations, as well as international copyright conventions, classify and outline the types of works, among which dramatic or musical works and musical works with or without lyrics fall under the category of works. One of the objectives protected by intellectual property right is the work. Music, as a subject of the category of works, also has its own unique character. It is generally accepted that a musical work is a regular art form. A musical work can be broken down into its various parts, such as rhythm and meter, key, signature, and sketch melody. And these constituent elements are the concrete expression of musical originality, so it can be argued that music, compared to other kinds of works, is more concerned with its own internal structure, with each arrangement of notes and melodies constituting an original expression of music. Thus, by analyzing the two concepts mentioned above, it is easy to see that musical works belong to one of the categories of works protected by intellectual property rights. The originality of musical works is mainly reflected in its internal melody, the arrangement of notes. So, I'd like to talk about the determination of plagiarism in musical works about three parts: the substantial acquaintance, the contact, significant similarity. Now, I'd like to talk about the significance of intellectual property rights in the teaching of music. A research of music infringement cases relevance that is some of the original songs that have become popular on the short video platform have been challenged by listeners as alleged plagiarism by compiling listeners' scores and comparing the melodies of these songs. It is clear that many of them share some or all of the same melodies, and are signed by cover authors with permission and have similar lyrics. According to some online reviews, there are many cover authors who consciously or unconsciously omit to label the original creator when uploading their covers, or different parts of a song and multiple songs have a high degree of similarity. This not only violates the legal rights of the original authors, but also challenges the music copyright protection system. With the increasing number of such cases, the number of the music copyright protection cases is also increasing year by year. In terms of social impact, it is not uncommon for some unknown listeners to mistake the cover song for the original song and label to the original singer as a music tailor. This has led to a confusion of musical works in the short-form video platform. Therefore, both the listeners and the creators should develop a good awareness of the concept of music copyright. It is merely of copyright infringement. It is the creators of music who need to aware of their rights first and foremost. So education of the law is essential. In the teaching of music, there is a need to focus on and strengthen innovate education. On the one hand, to create knowledge in cutting-edge fields and to investigate truths, and on the other hand, to cultivate innovate music, which, alongside traditional technical education, develops creative thinking skills and dimensions involved ideas in a practical form. The introduction of the intellectual property and its related theories as a compulsion public courses in music can generally improve the understanding and the knowledge of creator of music copyright and can avoid the phenomenon and infringement of musical works from the root of creativity. In addition, the audience of musical works is the listener, and the listener is able to exercise a good social supervision role. Therefore, the organic creation of music appreciation classes and intellectual property related contents in the general music courses of other majors can, to a certain extent, achieve the function of general law promotion, thus reducing the adverse advice efforts of musical works infringement being further expanded by social opinion. As can be seen from the previous article, the intellectual property course has an important role to play in the music curriculum teaching system, not only as a course in general legal knowledge, but also as a course in skills for creators to defend their rights and listeners to exercise social supervision. Therefore, in terms of curriculum construction, the following two directions can be considered. First, form of embodied intellectual property in the music major curriculum. Second, embodied forms of intellectual property in music general studies courses. The protection of musical works has been one of the more discussed topics in recent years, and the frequent occurrence of rights protection cases has reminded society of the need to pay attention to the protection of music copyright. Musical works involve both the creator and the listener. Therefore, the construction of music courses in colleges and universities that incorporate music copyright protection for students with different professional identities can better simulate the healthy and flourishing development of the music composition industry. That's all I want to talk about. Thanks for your listening.